Number 10. Magawa. Rodents are commonly not the most regarded of creatures. Yet, this year a rodent called Magawa has been given a little gold decoration for life-saving courage and dedication to obligation. Magawa is a Goliath-pouched rodent who has the perilous activity of clearing landmines in Cambodia. Ready to track down the touchy gadgets, yet too light to even consider setting them off, Magawa has assisted with clearing a region equal to 20 football pitches. Cambodia is covered with a large number of landmines and a great many individuals have kicked the bucket from being trapped in their impacts. With even the best innovation, identifying them is a long and perilous undertaking. Magawa works for simply 30 minutes every morning as a byproduct of a little treat and finds landmines that can keep his human handlers occupied all day. Magawa is soon to resign, however different rodents are being prepared to assume control over his job. In the event that they keep doing awesome, also could win a brilliant award. Number 9. William Windsor. Not all creatures that are surrendered high distinctions live to the degree of desire for their people. Since the hour of Queen Victoria, the 1st Battalion Royal Welsh of the British Army has gotten a goat as their mascot from the ruler. In 2001 they got Goat Armed Force number 252323001, otherwise called William Billy Windsor. Not exclusively is the goat a mascot for the officers, he is a functioning individual from the military. Billy was given the position of Lance Corporal. With his rank, any fighter that he outclassed would need to remain to consideration as the goat jogged by. Sadly, on his first abroad obligation, Billy acted in a not exactly soldierly way. During a procession, Billy denied an immediate request from his boss and wandered off the mark. For this he was downgraded to Fusilier. Billy not long after recaptured his position and has since resigned from his position. Just as the honor of his rank, Billy had different advantages. Every day he was given 2 cigarettes to eat and a beverage of Guinness. Number 8. Luca. The Dickon Medal is among the most noteworthy honors creatures can get for grit. Given by the People's Dispensary for Sick Animals, PDSA, Good Cause, the award is just introduced to creatures who show outstanding heroism in wartime. Luca, a canine working with the United States Marine Corps, was the primary American canine to get the British award. During 6 years of dynamic assistance in Afghanistan, Luca partook in more than 400 watches. Tracking down IEDs that were the most despicable aspect of those serving in the nation, Luca no uncertainty spared numerous lives. The last gadget she recognized weighed more than 30 kilograms and had enormous damaging force. It was minutes after the fact that another exploded and Luca endured consumes and wounds. Sadly, her front leg must be severed. When she recuperated, Luca was traveled to London to be granted the Dickon Medal. Luca was additionally given a Purple Heart, the decoration given to individuals from the U.S. outfitted administrations harmed in fight. In an informal function when he was given one by a Marine who had twice gotten the Purple Heart himself. Number 7. G.I. Joe. The principal American champ of the Dickon Grant anyway was a lot before and was a pigeon given the name G.I. Joe. During the Allied development in Italy during the Second World War, Allied soldiers made such a quick attack that they ended up a long ways in front of where they were normal. At the point when they caught a town that had been in German hands, they were in danger of being bombarded by their own planes in light of the fact that nobody figured they would be there. With their radio unfit to come to the air base where the planes were going to dispatch, the soldiers went to their last expectation, Pigeon USA 43 SC 6390, aka G.I. Joe. He broke through to the base without a moment to spare and the besieging was cancelled, sparing more than 100 lives. The reference that went with the Dickon Award introduced to G.I. Joe read, "This pal is credited with making the most remarkable trip by a USA Armed Force pigeon in World War II, making the 20-mile departure from British 10th Army HQ, in similar number of minutes. It brought a message which showed up in the nick of time to spare the lives of in any event 100 Allied warriors from being bombarded by their own planes." Joe went on to a glad and long retirement after the war. Number 6. Kuno. Canines have for some time been credited as man's closest companion, and it absolutely appears to be that in the front line they are. Canines have regularly gone to their handlers' protection even at the danger of their own lives. One canine named Kuno endured a lot of torment when he jumped into a battle with an Al-Qaeda gunman. Kuno was serving close by the first-class Royal Navy's Special Boat Service when they drove an attack on a radical compound. Nailed somewhere around automatic rifle shoot and explosives, the powers couldn't continue. Kuno handled one of the shooters and permitted his people to effectively take their objective. Kuno endured discharges in the two his back legs, however, was spared and conveyed to safety. A segment of one leg must be removed, and Kuno turned into the main British powers canine to get uniquely crafted prosthetic legs and would now be able to be discovered going around in retirement. Kuno has gotten probably the most recent beneficiary of the Dickin Medal. The British Defence Secretary said without Kuno, the course of this activity could have been altogether different, and it's reasonable he spared the lives of British staff that day. Number 5. Reckless. The United States Marine Corps has just once given an official position to a creature. During the Korean War, a pack horse called Reckless rose through the positions to become sergeant. Reckless was an abnormally astute pony and rushed to get her preparation. At the point when her kindred troopers got out approaching, she figured out how to run for the shelter. Her handlers instructed her to evade security fencing and to set down to avoid shots. In any case, it was her capacity to act without human direction that won her a trooper's honors. When her Marines experienced harsh criticism, Reckless made 51 excursions to and fro under foe fire to convey them ammo and conveying the injured back from the front. During her outings, Reckless was injured by shrapnel twice. Indicating Valiant's not typically connected with whimsical ponies, Reckless served all through the fight. One of her soldiers said, unquestionably a blessed messenger probably been riding her. Reckless resigned having gotten 2 Purple Hearts, 2 Navy Presidential Unit citations, a Navy Unit Commendation, 4 Korean Service Awards, and a Marine Corps Good Conduct Decoration. Number 4. Sergeant Stubby. Not all military canines are huge and fearsome monsters. Squad, as his name recommends, was not a tall canine. He was not so much as a thoroughbred canine of long ancestry. Squad was discovered meandering around Yale University where troops were preparing for the First World War. Squad was pirated on board a boat heading for Europe and was permitted to remain when he saluted an officer. For a year and a half, Stubby presented with 102nd Infantry Regiment in 17 fights. Squad offered numerous administrations to his kindred officers. With his solid feeling of smell, he had the option to make them aware of coming gas assaults. He would likewise bark when he heard German fighters progressing. If all else fails, he went about as mercy dog who looked out harmed and passing on warriors to comfort them. Stubby was harmed during his administration yet endured the war to lead a respected life. He met Presidents Wilson, Coolidge, and Harding, and was frequently positioned at the head of marches where individuals would arrange to cheer him. Maybe his most noteworthy honor was to be elevated to sergeant in the U.S. Army. Number 3. Tirpitz the pig. During the First World War, pigs were regularly kept on board transports where they could be utilized as a new gracefully of meat. One pig was positioned on the German boat the SMS Dresden and would have had little any expectations of enduring the war. At the point when her boat partook in a fight off the Falkland Islands, her odds appeared to sink even lower, as her boat was sunk from under her. Most of the German mariners who surrendered transport swam for the shore, yet Tirpitz jumped from the boat and swam towards the British vessels. She was spotted and pulled on board the HMS Glasgow. There she won her name, after the German Admiral von Tirpitz, and was given a fake Iron Cross for remaining on board the Dresden after the remainder of her group had fled. Now a mascot for the Glasgow, Tirpitz was treated with incredible regard. Too bad she ended up being irksome and broke into a chicken coop when out on shore leave. It took 10 men to wrestle her back onto the Glasgow. She was resigned from the boat and would need to serve the British powers in another way. Taken to England, she was said available to be purchased with all returns heading off to the Red Cross. Those needing to evaluate her before getting her could visit her at the Grosvenor Hotel. The huge total of 400 guineas was paid for Tirpitz. Little is thought about her later life, however she got one last, if questionable, honor. When she was eaten, her head was full and put in plain view. She can be found in the Imperial War Museum in London. Number 2. Bucephalus. Alexander the Great didn't do anything by equal parts. At the point when he set out to vanquish a domain, he made the biggest one the world had ever observed. What's more, when he needed to respect his pony, he did that in an appropriately amazing manner too. Alexander's pony Bucephalus was his friend since early on. Initially offered to Alexander's dad, the pony ended up being unrideable and wild. Just an energetic Alexander was fearless enough to tame him. Seeing Alexander on the pony, his dad proclaimed, "O my child, watch the outer realm equivalent to and deserving of thyself, for Macedonia is excessively little for thee." And that is the thing that he did. In every one of his missions, Bucephalus was close by. When Bucephalus kicked the bucket, Alexander requested not just a gigantic memorial service for his old companion, he likewise directed that a city be established in his honor. Alexandria Bucephalus was worked toward the east of the Indus waterway at the furthest edge of Alexander's area. Number 1. Shere Ami. In the mud and gas and dread of the First World War, it was simple for messages to wander off track and never arrive at their objective. Radio was still generally new, broadcast wires could be cut, and streets were frequently impacted with profound cavities. At the point when Major Charles White Whittlesey and 550 men of his men got nailed down, none of the sprinters they sent with messages requesting help traversed. Before long, their own side started shelling them since they didn't realize they were in the zone. Whittlesey went to his transporter pigeons. Carrier pigeons were so indispensable to the war exertion that British law offered firm fines or prison sentences for those found to have executed one. The initial 2 that were sent by the caught men were destroyed. With just 194 men left alive, every one of their expectations were put on the message given to Shere Ami. We are along the street corresponding to 276. 4. Our own ordnance is dropping a blast straightforwardly on us. For sky purpose, stop it. Hopes blurred promptly when Shere Ami was shot by the Germans in the bosom. It tumbled to the ground, yet some way or another recuperated and took off with its message. The message got past and the men were spared, however Shere Ami was left blinded in one eye and with a leg hanging by just a tendon. Shere Ami was given the best clinical consideration the military had and her life was spared. She was given perhaps the most elevated honor, the Croix de Guerre, and was sent back to the United States following a function with General John Pershing.